for a little while, so of course, I promised in my spoiler-free review that I will do a spoiler review for the Batman, and I came in prepared. Look at this, I got this awesome Batman t-shirt from JB Hi-Fi. It's selling right now, you should go get it. This t-shirt is probably one of my favorite t-shirts that I've ever freaking worn. So, speaking of warning, this review will have spoilers because I'm going to talk about some bits and full detail of the Batman. If you wanted to see my thoughts of the film, go to my spoiler-free review. I haven't spoiled any moments on the film in that review, so check it out. But, yeah, go see this movie and come back to this video if you have not seen the movie. So, spoiler warning, this review will include spoilers. For people who have seen it, holy shit. The Batman has probably been one of my favorite movies of the year so far. This is one of my favorite comic book films, I would say in a very, very long time. I just love this movie. That I saw this film 3 times in theaters. Yes, I saw this movie 3 times, and the more times I watch it, I couldn't get sick of it. I can watch it a 4th time. I honestly don't give a shit, because this movie from start to finish is, in my opinion, a masterpiece. It feels like a film again. It felt like not just a comic film, it felt like a great film again. Like, this could be the film that we can remember from this decade, because the Batman is definitely one of the coolest and the most unique comic book films that I've seen in a very long time. I just want to start off of how they introduced Robert Pattinson as Batman in this film first. This film does have 2 openings, but I want to talk about the second opening first, because this is my favorite superhero introductions that I have ever seen in the film. I just love the way the bat signal was used in this film. It shows to the criminals that it's basically a weapon to the criminals, showing that Batman is around. Like, Rob Pattinson even narrates in the film saying, the signal is not just a signal, it's a warning to them. It's a warning to all the criminals. So when you see the criminals robbing the banks in the film, and they see the bat signal, they're basically screwed. And I love that they look at shadowy alleyways in the film in blank darkness. Like, it looks very, very dark, you can't see shit. They think Batman comes out, and even Batman says, like, they think I come out of the shadows, but I am the shadows. Even like this one spray cannon criminal just drops a spray cannon into a dark doorway, and he's just like, nope, Batman's gonna come out and kick my ass. I am not going to do that. But it's basically showing if Batman came out of the shadows, you're basically screwed. So I love that the criminals are basically scared of the bat signal. I thought that's really well done. But let's talk about the introduction of Rob Pattinson as Batman. You see in the trailer, these criminals are tormenting this guy, but the way Batman just comes out of this really dark alleyway. You see these criminals, they hear footsteps echoing, and you slowly see Robert Pattinson as Batman just coming out with the iconic now Batman theme. Oh my god, that is some of the best introductions that I've seen for Batman in a very, very long time. They basically treat Batman as also a slasher killer for the criminals, basically. Like, they're showing that Batman is a threat to the criminals. And you see in the trailer, Batman kicks these criminals' ass. I just love that scene. And I even like that Batman even took punches in this film. Like, if you think about it, throughout the Dark Knight movies, you see Batman just fighting all these criminals like he just can't get defeated or can't get punches. I like that Robert Pattinson took a few punches from those criminals. It shows that he is still in his beginning of his career. But I just love that scene, just the way Batman comes out of that dark alleyway shadows. That is Batman. That is the perfect way to introduce Batman in this film. But I also want to talk about how to introduce the Riddler in this film in the first opening. You see, kind of like this binocular standpoint of the film and point of view, you see, I assume that's the Riddler. You don't even see who is using binoculars, because Batman also uses the binoculars in a film that looks quite similar to the Riddler's, but I'm pretty sure that is the Riddler. You see the Riddler basically killing the mayor, the elected mayor of the city, and just the way they introduce the Riddler in this film, it's like a horror film. It's a slasher, because you see the mayor inside the house watching the TV about his debate, and he walks out, and you see the Riddler in the background. You see the TV with the lighting flashing on him like he looks like a serial killer. It's really well done. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, I was gasping very, very loud. And it's pretty embarrassing, but it scares me. I just love the way the Riddler was introduced, and even how he kills the mayor. Just like, it's a jump scare basically. You see, like, the mayor turn off the TV, and then all you hear the Riddler going, "Ah!" Like he's freaking Wolverine or something. It's just, it scared me. I just love the way they introduced the Riddler in the film, and poor Dana, man. Oh my god. The way he played the Riddler in this film is terrifying. It is terrifying because the way he is acting, he goes kind of like this, like, this review is finally out. That's like my impression of him. That's how he talks in this film. And I was on the edge of my seat the entire freaking time. That freaking hurts, by the way. But I really like that this movie took place where Batman is in his second year of being the Cape Crusader. So people are very controversial about him. The cops especially, except for Gordon, they don't trust him. They just think he's a freak in a mask and he's just a vigilante. One of the commissioners, I forgot his name in the film, he comes up saying, oh, he's involved in this? He's just a vigilante. How do you know if we can trust him? I just love that in the film. No one trusts Batman except for Gordon in the film. That actually brings out one of the coolest friendships that I've ever seen in a film. Just Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon, he's the only one that does believe in Batman. And I just love the scene, like after this scene I'm going to talk about later, this Riddler bombing scene. I just love when Batman wakes up, all the cops are interrogating him. Gordon's like, don't worry, I'll talk to him. And they think he's going to like yell at him and all that stuff. Like he looks like he's coming to his face, yelling at him and show cops. But Gordon's just like, we need to get you out of here, punch me in the face. I'm like, holy shit. This is awesome. I just love their chemistry in this film. It shows that Gordon does care about Batman. He trusts him because he's always right. That's how much I love Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. He's probably my favorite. I would say, I love Gary Oldman, but I think he beats him. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of people can kill me, sue me, I don't care. I think Jeffrey Wright does a great job as Commissioner Gordon. But I just love that plot aspect where, like, not much people trust Batman. They just think he's a vigilante or a guy in a rubber mask. Like, even, like, one of the cops stops and is like, cops only. You can't come in here and all that stuff. And it's just really well done. I love what Matt Reeves does with Batman. They make him... It's not like an origin story or anything. It's more of, like, how Batman becomes Batman and well-known, basically, in the film. There's even some really dark humor in this film. Like, there's a moment in the film where Batman has to find USB with Commissioner Gordon, and it's actually the mayor's thumb cut off on a hard drive. My god, like the first time I saw that, I'm just like, holy shit, this is way too gory for a PG-13 movie, but it also brings some humor because they couldn't hack into the Riddler's account and computer, so they used the thumb from USB. That's some dark humor right there. I even like when Commissioner Gordon's like, oh, this guy is freaking hilarious. Like, that is perfect dark humor right there. This movie does have a little bit of dark humor, and I like that. It's not just a dark movie, which for the most part it is, but it has a bit of humor. I kind of like that. But I just want to talk about quickly Andy Serkis as Alfred. Now, he's not in the movie all that much. He's basically in a couple scenes of the film, but I kind of like the whole Alfred aspect of the film. They kind of make him the most gritty and brutal version of Alfred. Like, not that he's like gritty and all that stuff. You know, he's not like calm, you know, like Michael Caine in the Dark Knight movies. He's much more brutal and gritty in the film, the way he speaks as well. Andy Serkis just really provides as Alfred. I wish we do see him more though. I wish we do see more Bruce Wayne and Alfred in the film. But at the same time, we got enough for this type of film because the whole film mainly focused on this murder mystery. Let's talk about the Riddler bomb scene where the Riddler attaches a bomb to Coulson, not Agent Coulson in the Avengers. There's another Coulson. He's the DA. I love the funeral scene of the film. Like, you've seen the funeral scene on YouTube, but it doesn't end there. You see, you know, in the funeral scene, Bruce Wayne attends the funeral, and he attends there because he's investigating. He doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne in the film. He's more a Batman in the film. And that's what I like about this film also. Like, Matt Reeves actually said that Bruce Wayne, he wants Bruce Wayne to treat Batman as like a drug. And I like that because that's why we see Batman most of the time in the film, because Bruce Wayne thinks he has no life to live for except for being Batman. Even when Alfred's saying, oh, you don't want to follow your parents' legacy, and Bruce Wayne's like, what I'm doing right now is my parents' legacy. And I just love that. I love that he is more addicted to being the Cape Crusader and caring for Gotham than himself. I thought that's really well done in the film. But back to the funeral scene. You've seen the scene, you see the car just coming in, ruining the mayor's funeral, and you find out that it's the DA, it's Coulson, with the bomb on his mouth, and you see the phone ringing, which is the Riddler, and of course there's a cut in his chest to the Batman. After that scene, you see Bruce Wayne dressed up as Batman. He comes, and that whole conversation with him and the Riddler and the DA, my god. He attached a bomb to his mouth, and he has to solve these 3 riddles to live. And holy shit, just when Batman answered these riddles instantaneously, it shows how smart Batman is and how badass he is. but the third riddle about them finding a rat, he doesn't want to tell, so he blew up. And Batman basically got injured, and that's where it leads to the golden scene with Punch Me in the Face. That scene right there, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, the first time I watched it, I was holding my seat, like, the seat bars really tight. It's one of the most intense scenes that I've ever freaking seen in a comic book film. It's just really well done. Like, this film actually does feel like a thriller in aspects as well, and I really love that. Like, this film really does combine 70s noir murder mystery with David Fincher's Seven really well in this film. I want to also talk about Catwoman in this film because they kind of make her bisexual, basically, because she does have a relationship with one of the women that Batman's looking for that has something to do with the Riddler in the film. And I find it just very, very interesting in the film. When you find out that her girlfriend is actually murdered in the film, it's heartbreaking. And Zoe Kravitz, I just love the way they confront Batman and Catwoman in this film. Like, at times she's good, at times she's a bad guy. She's basically an anti-hero in the film. But I just love the chemistry in this film. I just love Batman and Catwoman's chemistry in this film. It's probably some of the best romances I've seen in a comic book film because it's just more realistic and more gripping. Kind of like with MJ and Peter in No Way Home. It's kind of like that with this film. I also want to talk about some of the gadgets that Batman has in this film, because they're really unique, actually. Like, Batman even has those contact lens camera thingies. Like, it's like a contact lens that has a camera on it, which shows, you know, what happens in the crime and all that stuff, and he plays back to solve the mystery. I find that very, very cool in the film, and he even uses it for Catwoman to investigate the DA and who the rat is. And the bat hook, of course, and the bat signal, it's basically a switchblade knife. I love that. That is bad ass right there. And I even like when Bruce Wayne, like, takes off his mask, he still has black eyeliner, which is my biggest problem with other Batman films. He has eyeliner in his mask, and when he takes it off, his face is completely fine. This movie, his face is more ugly and gritty with the eyeshadow. And I love that. It's really well done. It makes it more realistic. But, of course, let's talk about the car chase in this film with the Batman and the Penguin. It shows in the trailer, but there is more. Just the way that Matt Reeves filmed this car chase, it's some of my favorite action scenes that I have seen in a very long time. From the score, from the shots, it's an intense chase. You see the Penguin desperate to get away from Batman, but yeah, Batman basically kicked his ass. He came out of the exploding truck, knocks out the Penguin. You see the car just tumbling. It is so badass. That whole car chase, man, I can talk about it all day, but there's also more moments in the film. But that car chase, my god, there's just more than it shows in the film. Also, I didn't mention John Turturro as Falcone in my spoiler-free review because I would consider that a spoiler that he is in this film, so in my spoiler review, I'm going to explain John Turturro as Falcone. He is phenomenal in this film. I think he's better than Tom Wilkinson. I think he performs Falcone much more strong in this film. We actually officially have a twist that he is actually Catwoman's father, and I thought that's a very good twist, and I didn't see it coming. But also the way he explained Bruce Wayne's parents in the film is also really well done in this film. We find out that Bruce Wayne's parents that we think are basically people that does, like, really bad stuff. Where we find out that Bruce Wayne hires Falcone to kill a journalist that's investigating them. When Falcone explains that, I was literally on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my god, I love the way they portrayed that in this film. And even in the hospital scene with Alfred, because Alfred unfortunately has been blown up by the Riddler, because the Riddler is actually after Bruce Wayne in one of the cases, because he came after the mayor, one of the commissioners, and now Bruce Wayne. So of course Bruce Wayne was going to his mansion, trying to call Alfred, and unfortunately he was too late. He's been blown up like 1 hour ago. Not like blown up to pieces, but the Riddler gave him a letter. He throws it and it blows, so Alfred's in the hospital. And I literally thought he was dead. I thought that scene would have been much more effective if he does, but I'm okay with him being alive in the film. But Alfred did explain to Bruce Wayne also that they're good people. They just did a mistake. And I just like that in the film. Like, the Waynes aren't really that perfect. And I like that in the film. They're not just a wealthy, rich family that's great. They do mistakes, and I really like that. It makes this film much more realistic. But the ending of this film, the whole third act of this film, where everything all comes together, the Riddler basically won in the film. With that scene, you know, where Batman and the Riddler are in prison. You see the Riddler unmasked, Paul Dano is unmasked, And of course that scene, what have you done? I love when you see the Riddler saying, oh, you and I are the same. I thought we were working together. Like, Riddler thinks Batman is on the same page as the Riddler. When he finds out that he's not, he was heartbroken. Like, he was melting down. He's like, that is not the way it's supposed to work. I love that whole interrogation scene. It's so well done in this film. But he basically won. He actually planned those 3 bombs in Gotham, which makes Gotham flooded. The Riddler has won. Batman couldn't defeat or do anything about it. He won. He flooded Gotham City in that third act where he's fighting all the goons that are inspired by the Riddler. They dressed exactly like the Riddler. The whole third act was very, very intense in the film. When he's fighting all those goons, Catwoman can help, and he saves these people in the flood from getting electrocuted because one of the lines have like electric sparks, and Batman uses his bat signal as a grappling knife and stops the electric thing happening, and he guides those people out of the building, basically. It just shows that Batman is now the hero, and especially that he was carrying this woman, he was putting her in like this bed thing to go up the helicopter to get to a hospital, and she holds on to Batman thinking, is everything going to be okay? And he nods to her. It just shows that everyone now knows Batman. He knows Batman as this hero. And of course, let's talk about the thing that everyone was very shocked at and also very controversial of. Joker is in this film. We see Riddler in prison and we heard this other guy talking, and you find out it's that guy, I can't say his name, it's that guy from Eternals. He's playing the Joker. And that got me very controversial, like saying, oh, that's really cool, we get Joker in this film. But at the same time, I'm thinking, don't we have way too many Jokers already? Like, can't we just introduce newer villains? Like, why do we always have to have Joker in these movies? But at the same time, Barry Keoghan, hopefully I say his name right, I think he'll nail it as the Joker, and I'm interested to see what they can do. But please don't bring him in the next film. Like, bring Mr. Freeze. I heard there's a rumor that Mr. Freeze will be in the next Batman film. I'm curious for that because, yeah, Batman and Robin, yeah, kind of like this movie, like Batman Forever's Riddler. I'm not a fan of Jim Carrey's Riddler. They handle him in this film, and Penguin. I think Mr. Freeze should be much more better praised than he was in Batman and Robin. And I wonder who's going to be cast as him. That's going to be very, very interesting. So guys, that is my spoiler review for the Batman. These are my favorite moments from the film. Overall, the Batman is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite films of the year. I loved everything about this film. Just Robert Pattinson as Batman is just fantastic in the film. Paul Dano as the Riddler, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Colin Farrell unbelievably great as the Penguin, Andy Serkis, Jeffrey Wright. Every performance of this film really blew me away. I definitely want to see this movie the 4th time. I honestly don't really care. I loved the Batman so freaking much. I'm going to be the first guy to buy this movie on Blu-ray, and I even got the figures. I got this awesome t-shirt, and I want to get the poster to hang in my room. That's how much I loved the Batman. So guys, that is my spoiler review for the Batman. What do you guys think of this movie? Do you like this movie, hate this movie, or you thought it's okay? And who's your favorite Batman, and what's your favorite Batman movie? 2 questions. Let me know that in the comments below. More movie reviews are coming up very, very soon. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and other movie-related content. And make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contact with me, and have a nice day. On vengeance.